Hello everyone, welcome to Super Scientists. My name is Miss Liz. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to be making homemade bouncy balls. So if you registered for this program, you should have received a kit that looks like this that contains mostly everything you'll need for today's project. If you did not register for today's program, that is more than okay. You can of course, as always, still follow along by using any materials you may have at home. So in your science kits, you will find a few things. You will find a baggie of cornstarch, a baggie of borax, a little pod of blue food coloring, and some glue. You also will need a few things from home, including 2 mixing bowls. I'm just using 2 cereal bowls, so cereal bowls work just fine. You also will need 2 mixing spoons, some warm water. Tap water works just fine. I have mine poured out in a cup already, as well as a measurer for 1 teaspoon and 1 tablespoon. As you can see, I have a double measurer here. And as a reminder, we are going to be kneading and working with our hands today when we're molding and forming our bouncy ball, so please make sure you have clean hands as well as a clean and dry work surface. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the first step for today's bouncy ball project is to mix 1 teaspoon of borax with 2 tablespoons of warm water. So normally all of your ingredients are pre-measured for you. Normally we just dump our ingredients out of the bags or the cups into our bowls and we get started. However, today is a little bit different. When we're using our borax, like I just mentioned, we're first going to start with just 1 teaspoon. But when we begin kneading and molding the balls, we might need a little bit more borax to kind of solidify the mixture. So what I need you to do is I need you to measure out just 1 teaspoon of borax out of your bag. So just like we've done, even though we've dumped the whole bag of ingredients in our mixing bowls before, I don't want you to do that. Like I said, what I want you to do is measure out 1 teaspoon of borax out of this bag and put that 1 teaspoon into your bowl. So I'm going to point my camera down so you all can see what I'm doing. I have my 1 teaspoon measure on this side here. And like I said, I'm just taking out 1 teaspoon of borax out of my bag here. I have 1 teaspoon here. I'm just dumping it in the bowl. We're going to make sure we zip this back up and we will set it aside as we might need more of this borax later. And then we're going to pour 2 tablespoons of warm water into the borax mixture. I already have my 2 tablespoons measured out. If you just filled up your cup with warm water, then you can use your 2 tablespoons to measure 2 tablespoons of water out of the cup. But like I said, mine is already pre-measured, so I'm just going to pour mine in here. All right, now we're going to use one of our spoons to mix, and we want to make sure that the borax gets mostly dissolved. It's okay to have a little bit that is still sprinkled in the water, but you'll want to make sure that it's mostly dissolved. Alright, I think mine looks pretty good. I'm going to set my spoon on my little tray here because we probably will be using that again. Now I'm just going to set my water and borax mixture aside. And now we're going to need our second mixing bowl. And the next step is mixing our glue. You have 2 tablespoons of glue already measured out here with 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, which is also already measured out. So now we are going to take a clean spoon and we're going to put all of our glue into our bowl here. I thought it would be helpful to use a clean spoon to kind of scrape the glue out. Make sure you get all of it out of your cup into your bowl. We'll set that spoon aside since it's dirty and we don't want to use it anymore. And then, like I said, your cornstarch is already pre-measured for you, so you can go ahead and dump that into your bowl of glue. Alright, so it looks like I had to turn my bag inside out to get all the cornstarch out, so if you're having problems pouring yours, you might just have to turn the bag inside out to make sure it all falls out. Alright, now we're going to use that mixing spoon again. Please make sure you don't use your spoon with glue in it, but use your clean mixing spoon. And we're going to mix our glue and our cornstarch together. Alright, so once you get your cornstarch and glue mixed together, you'll see that it's starting to get, more solid, starting to get a little sticky. Maybe that's the right word for it. And you want to make sure that you have the right consistency. So as you can see mine is starting to form, and it's not powdery anymore. So make sure you get all of the powder stirred in. And next we are going to take our water and borax mixture, and we're going to just dump the whole bowl into our bowl with our glue and our cornstarch. You might need to use your spoon to make sure you get all of the borax out. And then we're going to use our mixing spoon and mix all of this together. And as you can see here, and as you can probably feel, it's starting to get really sticky. So once you have most of that mixed together, next we are going to start kneading. So if you've ever made homemade bread or homemade cookie dough, you'll know that once you start to get a more solid texture or a solid consistency, it's easier just to use your hands to knead. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to begin molding our bouncy balls. So as you can see, I kind of have a clump here that's already formed, and then there's some loose mixture. So I'm going to take this little clump here, I'm kind of going to dab it around to pick up some more of the mixture, and then I'm going to knead it. So I'm literally just using my fingers and my hands to form a ball. Kind of like how you play with Play-Doh. Alright, and now is when you kind of have to use your own observation and your best judgment. If your clump still feels wet, then you want to make sure, you're going to want to make sure that you add in some more borax, because you'll want that borax to kind of dry up some of the moisture. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Mine still feels a little bit moist right now, so I'm just going to sprinkle very lightly using my spoon. I'm just going to sprinkle some borax over this clump here, and we're going to see if that will help. And it does seem that the borax helped. It does seem that it's drying out some of that moisture and making more, of a ball shape now that it feels a little bit more dry. I think I'm going to sprinkle in maybe just one more spoonful here. All right, so it looks like mine is pretty much formed. It does look like that there's like a little bit of a crease right here. So I'm kind of just gonna fold it into itself. So if you see that your bouncy ball has any creases or any wrinkles, you might just kind of have to fold those wrinkles into themselves. Again, kind of like how you play with Play-Doh. And that is our final product. Now the fun part is testing it out and see if it'll bounce. All right, let's see if it works. There we go. Not a very big bounce, but still a bounce nonetheless. All right, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned something new. I hope you learned something fun, and I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.